Hello, you vibrant luminous thing. I am Emily. I'm the Weekend Mystic, and you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make a mala. Mala are meditation beads. They're used to help you focus your intention as you meditate, and I got into it because I realized that I'm really bad at meditating, and I found that I could reach something akin to a meditative state by doing something simultaneously with my hands. So it is super satisfying once you've made something like this, and you can use gemstones and crystals to magnify your intent, and it's so much fun. So thought I'd make a video to show you how I do it. So let's jump in. So I start with my focal bead. This one I made from a quartz tower and set it in pewter. And I would love to teach you how to do this. Shoot me a comment if you're interested. And then I gather a bunch of beads together, and this is the fun part. Right now I've got some druzy aura quartz and some star-cut amethyst and some smoky quartz. And then I'm going to round it off with this beautiful gunmetal hematite. And then I always like to add some wood. This is cedar. When you rub an aromatic wood together, it emits a heavenly scent, which is an offering to the spirits. So that's nice to include. And now comes the fun part. I get to play around with arranging them on a board. I use a mala board. I make these myself because I hate counting. I would much rather concentrate on my intention once I start stringing. So this way I can do all the counting in the beginning and all of the arranging and make sure that it looks good before I start tying knots, because once you start tying a knot, it is forever. Side note, I never use synthetic cords. A lot of people do for vegan reasons. It's my personal belief that if you care about the planet, you shouldn't use anything that's not biodegradable, because the gemstones that you're working with are natural materials. So let's conduct that energy with something natural, like silk or waxed hemp or linen. I personally use silk because animal magic is really important to me, but you can use waxed linen, waxed hemp. It comes in individual like 2-meter stretches, or it comes on spools. So it's up to you, but I would beg you to make the choice to use some kind of natural material over a synthetic like nylon or polyester, just because it doesn't biodegrade. And to me, that is a natural sin, but you do you. So now we're going to undo all of the slack on this card and have it so that I have secured the cord in 3 of these slots. That gives you enough of a tail to knot it at the end. You see how I've just got it stuck in those little slits? Now you're going to string your first bead. Pull all the slack, get it to the end there. And now it's time to tie your first knot. So I hold the bead back here, and then I pull the first part of the cord here taut. And then I take my needle and I put it over, and then reach through the 2 sides of the cords from underneath and pull it through. And you're going to have a lot of slack in the beginning, but just keep pulling. Don't get too aggressive. You want this whole process to be very gentle. And see that knot? Now I'm going to inch it down right towards the edge of that bead. Hold it, pull the rest of the slack, always so gently. Keep that knot right up next to the bead. And just kind of use my fingertips to gently inch that knot to the very edge. And that's when you can tighten it, right where it's right snug where you want it to be. Not bad, right? Now watch this. We're going to do this with tweezers. This is another way to do it. Again, use your needle, go over, then come from underneath and through, pull the needle through the middle, and then just pull up all that slack. As the mala progresses, you're going to have less slack, so it will get easier. And then you're going to get that knot down there. Now, keeping it loose, you're going to use the tweezers to follow the cord that's coming straight out of that bead, right? So kind of walk the tweezers down so that they're holding the cord right where it's coming out of the bead. And this is where it makes it super easy to pull that slack and see how that knot just kind of walks right down to where you want it. Tweezers are very helpful in the beginning. And then you can tighten it up, get it nice and snug. Now I'm going to string this lone hematite bead because it's going to be at the top of my guru bead, my focal. So that's strung on with no knot, and I'm going to make a loop like this. And I'm going to string the loop through my focal, through my guru, separate the sides of that loop, and then pull both of the tails through. Do this slowly. Keep that loop nice and wide so that you can pull everything through. Again, don't be aggressive. Just very carefully cinch that up. And then I keep my finger in the loop while I pull the tail, the one end, and that cinches it nice and snug. And there you have a lark's head knot. Now I'm going to use my needle, string it right back through that extra hematite bead because that is actually how I'm using it as the top of my focal. Pull all that slack, make sure it's not getting caught. Now I'm going to tie another knot at the top so both sides are symmetrical. And then I'm going to string my other side. I'm just going to keep going as I was with the overhand knots. Now, you're going to want to string your last bead on here, but you're not going to tie it off. But you are going to undo the other end where you started. So now you've got two tails. Both of the beads on the end are loose. And then you're going to put your two tails together and we're going to tie an overhand knot. Make sure those beads are snug up against the other beads. And then you're going to grab the two tails and simultaneously do an overhand knot, pulling both tails through the loop. Gentle, gentle. Snug up that knot as much as you can, and here's where the tweezers come in super handy. While the knot is loose, use the tweezers to go through the loop of the knot and hold those cords as close to the hole of the bead as possible so that, again, you can walk that knot down nice and close. It's not going to be perfect the first time, so you want to go as gently and slowly as possible. Once it's cinched, you can take the two tails and pull them tight, and that'll get it nice and snug. I have had a lot of practice with this. Yours is going to take a little longer the first time. Don't sweat it. Now you can finish the ends by adding more beads or just tie off knots, which is what I'm going to do here. once your knots are tied. Pull them tight. And then you're going to trim with a little bit of a tail off of that knot. And then the knots will fray out right here and it'll look really pretty. And you did that whole thing. Like, look at this. How fun is that? You've got your perfect 108 bead mala. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about how I choose my gemstones, stay tuned for my next video. I'll be talking about the stones I love most and how you can use them to focus your intentions further. Thanks!
How about just throw in a thanks for watching or something?
Okay. Thanks so much for watching!
Okay, try one more time.
Okay.
Just like a thanks for watching, guys, or whatever.
I'll be talking about the stones I love most and how you can use them to focus your intentions further. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again. Bye!